Hello! Welcome to this video. Today we're going to be discussing a very creepy book from my favorite author, and that book is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. If you were looking to write a frightening book that makes you feel uneasy, makes you feel uncomfortable, the premise of this book is essentially cheating. It is so easy to have empathy for this character, because the premise of this book is essentially Tricia McFarlane, a 9-year-old girl, gets separated from her family while hiking the Appalachian Trail, and she gets more and more lost as she has to face the elements and fears, both rational and irrational, as something stalks her through the woods. If that doesn't creep you out, I'm a young parent. If you're a parent, that's pretty terrifying. We all have those fears of getting lost in an unknown environment. And this premise, so easy to write a scary story, it's basically cheating. It wouldn't be a Stephen King book without all of his Kingisms, such as depictions of bodily functions, violence against children, and something random and strange being just thrown into the mix. The strange thing of this book essentially being this girl, Tricia McFarlane, who's lost in the woods. Where does she turn to solace? Not God, not memories of her family, but memories of her favorite pitcher, Tom Gordon, a relief pitcher baseball player. And that's where she finds solace. That's where she finds comfort as she's battling against the elements, starving to death, freezing to death, all the bad things. So this book's a pretty weird book. It's definitely not what you anticipate when you pick it up. I was told that this book would be very hard to enjoy if you weren't a baseball fan. And I definitely disagree. I know nothing about baseball. I also know nothing about the outdoors. And I found this book very riveting, very enjoyable, and I think because I'm a new parent, this book had a pretty strong emotional impact on me while reading it. As you can notice, this book is pretty short, and Stephen King has a very well-earned reputation for writing big books with some giant slogs in the middle. He oftentimes writes from too many point of views, which kind of slows down the pacing of the reads, making a lot of his reads a lot more laborious than they have to be. But I feel like The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is a very good book because Stephen King is limited to very few point of view characters. We read this story through the eyes of Tricia McFarlane, 9-year-old girl, and her family, who are worried about her, worried sick, and we're kind of dealing with the grief on their end and also the fear on Tricia's end. And I think Stephen King does some of his best work when he's not too tied up with so many different point of view characters, not a giant cast of characters. So a nice break from some of his more arduous reads. I was surprised that this book was not more well known, because this book is brutal, it is very good, and it's probably amongst my favorite Stephen King books. But writing about a young girl dying of starvation, being exposed to the element, being hunted, makes it a pretty hard sell to be made into a motion picture. So I feel like this book, though it is not well known amongst Stephen King's works, is definitely a gem, a diamond in the rough for sure. And Stephen King avoids one of his most common mistakes in this book, and that is he's not very good at the endings. He doesn't write good conclusions. That's just how it is. I love Stephen King, but he'll write good opening, with nice beautiful premise, slog in the middle, great climax, horrible falling action. And The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon avoids all of that. The pacing is done perfectly, especially when compared to Stephen King's other works. The ending of this book had me in tears. A great ending, very emotionally cathartic, and very thoughtful for a very short read. So, this is definitely for me a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I loved this book. I'm definitely going to have to revisit it another time in the future. And if you like brutal, quick, fast-paced reads that you could read in one weekend, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is definitely worth giving a try. But if you're easily, triggered by bad things happening to little people, yeah, might not be the best book for you. Thank you for watching my video, guys, and I'll talk to you guys next time.